look at the situation and I hear, oh, they're in advanced talks. With who? With who? Because the person who's running around pretending to be his agent is not his agent. This stuff is easily Googleable. You can look up who his agent is. And it's not this fella who's all over Instagram talking about big work being done. Now, he's obviously got a connection to Frimpong, but he's not his agent. Now, Team Frimpong may well be trying to build a load of hype around Liverpool. It may well be that he'll get a move to Liverpool. It may also be that they're trying to attract attention from other clubs. And again, if we really wanted it done, why would we risk anybody else getting involved? We know there's other clubs around Europe that are desperately in need of a right wing back, right winger, somewhat right back. And he's cheap at 29 million. So why would we risk anyone else having the opportunity to sneak in there? If we wanted it, it'd be done. I think David Lynch is right. I think it's a deal that might happen, but I don't think he's in any way a first-choice right-back for us, and certainly not a first-choice right-back target. The idea of him and Kirkes as a pair of fullbacks is absolutely horrible, by the way. Absolutely horrible. Like, Frimpong can't defend. And you can show some numbers that say he's, top X% in final third win backs. That's because he plays as a winger and a wing back. He's not asked to defend. Those are pressing numbers. They're attacking metrics. If you're winning the ball back in the final third, that's an attacking metric. It's not a defensive metric at all. Jeremy Frimpong is a good to very good player, but he's a winger. He plays as a wing back, but he's a winger. He was a winger coming through at City. He got moved into a full-back position because he wasn't making the grade. He then didn't make the grade. He went to Celtic. And, he was good for Celtic. He was great going forward. But he couldn't defend to save his life. He really couldn't defend to save his life. And he went to Leverkusen. And he was pretty average at Leverkusen as a fullback. Gerard Sione was seeking alternative right backs. Then he gets sacked. Alonso comes in, changes the shape, puts him out as a wing back, who often plays in the front three. And all of a sudden, Frimpong exploded. And it's been great to see. He's been brilliant. In the Leverkusen team for the last 3 seasons, he has been exceptionally good. He was tremendous last year, but he has not played as a right back. He's played as a wing back or as a winger because they're the positions that suit him because he's a naturally attacking player. He cannot defend. So if you're pairing him with Kirkes, who just isn't a good defender, you're creating a big problem for yourself. And look, Trent's not a great defender. Trent is an above-average defender when he wants to be. The issue with Trent is when he wants to be. It's always been about effort with Trent. It's never been about his actual ability to defend. It's always been about the effort level. So if you go to Frimpong and Kirkes, now we saw how great Virgil and Ibu had to be this season. No defensive midfielder in front of them. Alexis by far the best ball winner in that midfield. Huge pressure on Virgil and Ibu. And that's with Trent and Robbo. You're now making your right back worse defensively. Regardless of whether it's Frimpong or Bradley, it's a step backwards defensively from Trent. Bradley might make big tackles for the cameras. Bradley's a terrible defender. Kirkes is like Bradley. He'll make some big tackles for the cameras, but fundamentally he's atrocious. He allows crosses. He doesn't stick with runners. He gets beaten 1v1 far too easily. All the same things that happens with Bradley. Kirkes is worse defensively than even this version of Robbo. So you're making both fullback positions worse defensively. You're upping the load on Virgil, who's going to be 34 this summer, and Ibu. And what happens if Ibu leaves? There is no defender out there that we could bring in who's Ibu level as a defender, not as a footballer, as a defender. And people are obsessed with Dean Huijsen. He is fantastic on the ball. He is a fantastic footballer. As a defender, he isn't even in the same stratosphere as Ibu. He's not even the best defender in the Bournemouth centre-back pairing. Like, if you look up and down the league, he's not a top 10 defender among Premier League centre-backs. He just isn't. You'd have R2 both ahead of him. Gabriel way ahead of him. Gabriel's not as good as R2, but he's a lot better defensively. Saliba is a better defender, but similarly, he's more of a ball player first. Botman is a better defender. Schär is a better defender. Diaz, for his problems, is a better defender. Stones is a marginally better defender. Colwell's a better defender. Cons is a better defender. Pau Torres is a better defender. Murillo's a better defender. Like, through the top 7, Milinkovic is a better defender. They're not as good, some of them aren't, as good a ball player, as a footballer as Dean Huijsen. Well, as defenders, they're a lot better than him. And like Milinkovic and Schär, they're not a patch on Ibu defensively, but they're way ahead of Huijsen defensively. Way ahead. He's not dominant in the air. He's not a great 1v1 defender. He doesn't have great recovery pace. Like, his ability right now, at this point in his career, is as a footballing centre-back. The defensive side, he will definitely improve on. You can see a lot of promising aspects of him. And I do think defensively, in 3 years, I think he'll be a better defender than what Saliba is now. Well, that's 3 years away. And Saliba's still not nearly as good a defender as Ibu. People can argue he's a better footballer than Ibu, but he's certainly not a better defender than Ibu. So you're going to weaken both fullback spots and then massively weaken the centre-back spots. Virgil would be dead by November from having to carry all of this, especially if we do not add in midfield. So Kerkez is obviously, I think, a more solid link than Frimpong. A more likely signing than Frimpong, certainly as a fullback. So it makes sense if you're signing a Kerkez to balance it by signing a defensive right back. And in the last 24 hours, we've seen Thomas Araujo and Luxuel Geertruida both being linked. Thomas Araujo by Sam Maguire, Geertruida by Lewis Steele in the Daily Mail. Now, I know in Sam's piece, he said Araujo would be seen as an alternative to Huijsen. He's barely played centre-back for 2 years. He's played almost exclusively as a right-back. He's not dominant in the air, which doesn't fit with the profile of a Liverpool centre-back. Now, Huijsen's not great in the air either, but he is at least 6'5". And from a physical point of view, stature-wise, he's quite like Joel Matip. Like similar build and height to Matip. So with Huijsen, you could at least predict it's likely that he can become dominant in the air. With Araujo, it's less likely at 6'2". And again, Araujo doesn't play as a centre-back. He plays as a right-back. And he's a very good right-back. He's rapid. He's good 1v1. And he's very good on the ball. I think he'd be a right-back. And Geertruida played almost exclusively as a right-back at Feyenoord under Arne Slot. And if Arne wants to recreate his Feyenoord team and how they played, then Araujo or Geertruida make a lot of sense at right-back. I would prefer Araujo. I think he's the better player of the two. But I could understand him wanting Geertruida because he's a player he's got familiarity with. Now, I don't necessarily like when managers do that, when they jump up many levels and reach back down for a player. We saw it happen at United with all of the signings. Onana, Anthony, the Gnome, all these players that were brought in by Ten Hag because they'd been great from at Ajax. It's a different kettle of fish in the Premier League. And Geertruida hasn't exactly lit up the Bundesliga this season. You know, he had a decent first half of the season. He's been quite poor second half, and he's actually lost his place in recent weeks. I think the last 3 appearances he's made, 2 of them off the bench, have come at centre-back rather than at right-back. Araujo, I think, would make a lot of sense at right-back. I would like to see us buy both Benfica fullbacks, Araujo and Carreras, because when I watch Benfica play, they remind me quite a lot of how Arne used his fullbacks at Feyenoord. Geertruida, right back with a centre-back profile, who can step in and form a 3, but who can also step into midfield and form a double pivot with your 6. And that's what Geertruida did really well at Feyenoord. You'd see Feyenoord build up, and at times they'd go to a 3 with 1 in front, and at times they'd go to a 2 and 2, because Geertruida could play as a right side centre back, and the left sided centre back in the normal pairing is David Hanko, naturally left footed, so it's a very comfortable 3. We don't have that because obviously Virgil's right footed, but Virgil's good enough with his left foot that it can work. Though at his age, do you really want him having to defend big channels? We'll see. So that works easy. Or he stepped in and he played alongside Wiefer in front of Hanko and his centre-back partner. You see Araujo do that quite a bit. He'll step inside. Antonio Silva plays as the right side centre-back. Otamendi is the left side centre-back. Otamendi, again, is right-footed, but he's comfortable in space. So now you've got a 3. And Carrera is the left-back with bombs on. He's also comfortable inverting in the same way Hartman was. So with Arne's left-back at Feyenoord, Hartman would burst forward up as an overlapper, or he'd step in next to Wiefer sometimes. So you'd have multiple ways of going to a 3 and a 2. The partner of Wiefer was often Ergan Koku. Sometimes it was Quinton Timber, but often Ergan Koku. He'd move forward and form a second number 10, which is what we can often see Alexis do. So let's just say, for our own sake, right, if we signed Araujo and Carreras, because Kirkes, I don't think, gives you that ability for him to invert. He's not good enough as a passer to invert. Rayan Aït-Nouri would absolutely be. Let's say we go Araujo and Aït-Nouri, right? Because we know Aït-Nouri's been linked before. He's been liked. Carreras, I've only ever seen one link to us, and it wasn't a very reliable one.
All right, the Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share, and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts, and even Liverpool legends along the way. With the Great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that, from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.